What's happening, guys? Feast your eyes on this classic CB900F 1981 model. This is absolutely stunning machine. It runs better than it looks. I've got the dyno report in my back pocket. The Manic mechanic himself, Jeff Castine, massaged this thing to perfection. And if you watch some of our videos, you know he's the best in the industry. We bought this from a collector friend of ours in New York who had a collection of 4-cylinder super bikes. This is one of the crown jewels out of that collection, and it's bristling with trickery from the front fender all the way back. I guess I'll start at the front because there's so much to talk about in this bike. I don't want to miss anything. The front brakes have just been rebuilt by Jeff. The calipers have been completely rebuilt. You can see the rotors have been painted red on the inside here. The Comstar cast mag wheels in mint condition. The fork seals are in good condition. It has a custom period correct quarter fairing. I thought it when I first saw it, it looked like a factory option. That's how nicely it was done. This is made by Meyer, M-A-I-E-R, and it has the smoked windshield on here. All the lights, all the switches, all the signals, everything works perfectly as you'd expect, typical Honda quality, showing 20,664 miles on the bike. No evidence of it ever being crashed or abused. It's got the Superbike style handlebars on, Superbike grips, mirrors, everything's in really good condition. The original factory paint job is in excellent condition. In order to protect the paint job, Bob actually put the clear coat cover right in here so you wouldn't rub the paint off. That'll come off. That's just a vinyl clear protectant, and also a belt guard right here, which is a smart way to protect the original factory paint. When I looked in the tank on this thing, I think I heard angels singing. The inside of this is absolutely pristine. One of the things Jeff did is he took the tank off and cleaned it inside, and there's 2 coats of Carnauba wax on the outside. You can see it's absolutely pristine. The entire fuel system's been completely rebuilt on this. In fact, Jeff, being the perfectionist that he is, I'll show you on the dyno report, he had it at 72 rear wheel horsepower. The carbs were previously rebuilt by Bob or the guy that Bob had working for him doing it, but it just wasn't quite right. They weren't synced quite right, so they were taken off. Jeff went through it, got everything dialed in, synced them, put it back together and synced them, did all adjustments, and it was only pulling 72 rear wheel horse on a dyno, so they came out again, took them completely apart. I'm talking, I don't know if you've ever seen a set of quad carbs completely dismantled the way Jeff does them, and he went through the accelerator pump, everything, and he discovered upon measuring them that one of the float needles that was installed by the previous owner was the wrong size. So that was the glitch. So he fixed that, put it back together, tuned it, put it on the dyno, 82 rear wheel horsepower, which is somewhere in the area of the high 90s, close to 100 horse at the crank. The motor is absolutely a work of art on this thing. The valves are adjusted perfectly, new air filter. The carbs are completely rebuilt. It's got a Kirker 4-in-1 exhaust, and it has the jet kit installed for the bigger Kirker, so it gives you a perfect, I think it's 14, is it 14-to-1 that Jeff shoots for on the dyno?
Yeah, 13.5.
13.5 to 1 air fuel mixture. It's carbureted beautifully, and the motor's an absolute work of art. The chains and sprockets are brand new on the bike. Those are got maybe 100 miles on them. While it was off, you can see they painted the inner wheel hub red right there. The shocks are the piggyback style shocks. Those are painted red to match. As you can see on this side, the rear brakes were rebuilt, and while they had them apart, they painted the rotor red to match the front one. Stunning, gorgeous Kirker 4-in-1 period correct exhaust system. It's got a Corbin saddle on there with a matching pinstripe stitching on there. Super comfortable ride. The quarter fairing is real nice, puts the wind over your visor if you're leaning down in a crouch on the highway. It also has a steering dampener on here, aftermarket steering dampener to keep it going nice and straight. Went through the detail shop. Ronnie gave the full Monty on this bike, steam cleaned it top to bottom, repainted the engine cylinders, the engine cases, and the exhaust system was completely repainted with the high temp black paint. Just an absolutely gorgeous piece. Kenny, you want to add anything about this? I know you spoke with Bob about the bike recently. I know it was one of his crown jewels, and he commanded a premium for it when we bought it, and we struggled a bit getting the carbs quite right, but Jeff put quite a bit of time into it, but it's perfect now. It's got a new battery in it. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, just stunning, the black, red, and orange factory paint scheme. You don't see a whole lot of these. You see more of the silver and blue models for whatever reason. I don't know if these were fewer production, but just a real classic with a dual overhead cam, CB900, second to last year, this model, before they went to the 1100, the CB1100, but triple disc brakes, just classic air-cooled straight four, or inline four rather, 4-in-1 with the Kirker. Guys, the cost of labor is going up. Very few shops will take bikes like these in, and even fewer are capable of tuning to this spec, and then even fewer shops have dynos to see what they're actually putting down to know a problem. And to be completely honest with you, the bike ran fine, and when it came in here, and it was probably passable, and we could have probably sold it with it making 70 or whatever wheel horsepower that it did, but I mean, it wasn't right. You know what I mean?
A Honda rated it
wasn't
close
right
to 100. So, and Jeff has tuned a bunch of these. He knew it was down on power.
This one's running right.
It runs perfect.
It runs.
It's so key right when you do the exhaust to make sure that the carbs are done right. This has the Dyno Jet jetting kit. It has the for the Kirker exhaust. The chrome on the valve covers is beautiful. The paint on the engine's real nice. All the engine cover chrome is in beautiful condition, as is the chain guide. Even the rear brake caliper stay here is chromed on it. All the aluminum's been polished. All the chrome's been polished. Ronnie spent a day and a half on this, 12 hours in the detail shop, doing everything I mentioned, between painting the motor and detailing it and getting everything dialed in beautifully on the bike. In fact, I'm pretty confident it was more than 12 hours, but that's what he wrote down on here. So quite an extensive work order, but the proof's in the pudding. The bike's absolutely gorgeous. So check this out. This is the actual Dyno Jet performance evaluation here, showing on the first run 72.14, and you can see it was breaking up a little bit on the upper end here, losing a little bit of power. So final torque final horsepower curve is nice and even all the way across the board in a jump, and at the top a jump of 10 horsepower, which is 72 to 82 horsepower, probably 15%. So running like a champ, super smooth. All the cycle parts are in great condition. No indication of the bike ever being dropped or abused or damaged. And it was owned by, the guy we bought this from was 65 years old. Bob's 65. We actually spoke to him today before we shot the video, and he said the guy he bought it from was even older than him. So the collector who owned it was in his 70s and had a nice collection of vintage Hondas. This is about as cool as it gets for an 80s Honda Superbike, the 900F, the black and orange. All the details on this, the matching Corbin seat with the orange piping. Zoom in on the tailpiece here. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece. The fit and finish on it is excellent, and it's tuned to perfection by the best in the business. New spark plugs, new oil filter, new, like the inside of the tank's like brand new. The fuel petcock has been rebuilt, new fuel lines, the carbs rebuilt, the whole intake airbox system, air filter's new. The air fuel system is basically brand new on this bike, and the engine's tuned to perfection. Valves are adjusted perfectly, and it's got that kick-ass period correct Kirker. So if you're looking for a classic Honda 900 to invest in, look no further. Your ship's come in. This is a beauty, and it's, like I said, bristling with trickery from front to back. Lots of cool chrome pieces and high-end upgrades on it, like the matching fairing, which looks like a original factory part. So if you have any questions about it, give us a call, 860-454-7024. Thanks for watching. Give us a call. God bless America.